Pleasant day to everyone. It is both privilege and honor to present in the first Virtual Nursing Research Congress of the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society in Nursing. I'm Professor Dr. Michael Joseph S. Dino, the Director for Research Development and Innovation Center of Our Lady of Fatima University, Valenzuela City, Philippines. Let me begin by sharing to you some life realities, especially for developing countries such as the Philippines. And I know everyone will agree with me when I say that we are living in exponential times. This conclusion arose from the fact that majority of developing countries nowadays are faced with the population issues, and we're also experiencing a lot of shifts, especially in this time of the pandemic. The first paradigm shift is limited information to information explosion. The term information explosion attempts to describe the exponential increase and diversification of published data and information. So the amount of technical information is doubling every 2 years. For example, for students starting a 4-year technical degree, this means that half of what they learn in their first year of study will be outdated by the third year of study. So as a researcher, based on my literature reviews, these are some of the interesting facts. The English words today is 5 times than the time of Shakespeare, that more than 3,000 books are published daily. Supercomputers will soon be built that exceeds the computational capability of the human brain, and the amount of technical information is doubling every year. There is a law that has a constant and dramatic effect in our life, and that is the law of change. The law of change states that everything is in the process of becoming something else. Change happens everywhere and with everyone and happens constantly. In the galaxies of outer space where our sun will burn out in a few 100 million years, change is happening. And in the subatomic world where particles are colliding with one another and morphing into something else in hundreds of a second, change is happening. Everything is always changing. But from a personal point of view, change has four components. First is change or constant transformation. In change, there are challenges or numerous crises, but we have the chance or numerous options to have a choice or control over our preferences. Charles Darwin, during the 1800s, claimed that man, through a combination of environmental and genetic factors, emerged as a species to produce the variety of ethnicities seen today. It is interesting and clever to note that the evolution of man, in the context of sociology, is interpreted by modern artists in a different way, including myself. The second set of pictures show us my own version of that evolution, and it shows that nurses transform, and transformation is a multifaceted concept. The present slide showcases my personal understanding of that evolution. Education of new nurses nowadays is grounded on several standards. For example, in Asia, it's the ASEAN 2015 and the qualification frameworks of different countries and essential competencies. Nursing evolution never stops. It continues until and beyond the 21st century. Nursing education is committed to shape nurses who not only provide care, but of course, nurses who heal, meaning nurses who are independently dependent, nurses who are harmoniously work, working with other members of the healthcare team and to their patients, an engaged professional, an active researcher who contributes to the advancement of nursing knowledge, a lifelong learner, and a servant to the community. My presentation entitled Research Technology, Education, and Scholarship in the Fourth Industrial Revolution Influences in Nursing Sciences shall focus on the four main points or questions provided to provide clarity and brevity of presentation. And these are what shapes nursing practice in the contemporary society, what describes the history and practice of technology used in healthcare, what makes caring more challenging in the fourth industrial revolution, and what best practices can be adopted to prepare for and survive the 4IR. So that means it will focus on the changes, the challenges, the chances, and the choices. Let's start first with research. Literatures concerning the Fourth Industrial Revolution has gained momentum in recent years since its inception by the German government in Hanover Fair in 2011 to promote computerization in manufacturing. In the health sciences, the introduction of new approaches with its new terminologies warrants further investigations and pilot studies. Research in the health sciences continue to posit the attributes of comparability, reliability, validity, and explicitness. And I call this the crave factors of quality research. research that are comparable to both national and international standards, research that are reliable for it matches with our specialties in nursing, studies that are acceptable in terms of the method, manuscript, and format, outputs that are valid for its uh, because it was pre-checked and verified by experts, and manuscripts that are explicitly written clearly and concisely worthy of publication. But nowadays, the standards are really beefing up. So it's not enough that we complete a research paper. So it's very recommended for us to not only produce paper, but of course to present it in conferences just like this one, to publish our paper in reputable journals, to have patent registrations whenever there's an output for our research. And we also do pitching for the commercialization of our research outputs. Research is important because it informs the way we develop and innovate our practice and education. And a lot of changes are happening in the research world. New discoveries, innovations, and some are inclined with the 4IR. So when it comes to nursing schools, there are lots of technologies that requires further investigation. For example, the use of simulation in educating health professionals enables learners to practice necessary skills in an environment that allows for errors and professional growth. So there are numerous studies in the use of technology in nursing practice and education. These studies are aimed to discover new knowledge and understanding, but most important, must be applied in the current practice or in more scholarly term, knowledge translation. Let us share some background about the fourth industrial revolution. Industries like nursing are evolving. So, since the beginning of the 18th century, consequently, the human race experienced three dramatic and distinct technological change and innovation. The first industrial revolution, the age of mechanical production, beginning around 1760s through the advent of the steam engine. Steam was powering everything from agriculture, textile manufacturing. During this revolution, man battles with time. The second industrial revolution, the age of science and mass production, things started to speed up with a number of key inventions. Think gasoline engines, airplanes, chemical fertilizers, all inventions that help us go faster and do more. Man battles with speed and productivity. Third industrial revolution, or the digital revolution, which begins in 1950s. The third industrial revolution brought semiconductors, mainframe computing, personal computing, and internet, or the digital revolution. So this time, man battles with technological competency. First coined in Hanover Fair in 2011 by the German Academy of Engineering. The fourth industrial revolution can be defined as a collective term for the technologies and concept of a value chain organization which creates together cyber-physical system, the Internet of Things and Internet of Services, the Internet of People, and the Internet of Energy. More than 2,000 companies that was surveyed in previous studies expect to dramatically increase their overall level of digitalization. So this time, man will battle with computers and artificial intelligence. Now that patients around the world have grown more comfortable using digital networks and services, even for complex and sensitive issues such as healthcare, I believe that the time has come for healthcare systems to go all in their digital strategies. So one of the most common terms in the fourth industrial revolution is technological singularity or simply singularity. It is a hypothetical point in the future where technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unfathomable changes to human civilization. So, for example, some concepts under the fourth industrial revolution includes the use of artificial intelligence, and a good example for that is Google, that is now developing the DeepMind, an AI program that can learn like human. Scholarly work was recently published in Nature Medicine as a joint partnership between Google and Moorfields Hospital, which showcases the use of artificial intelligence that can quickly interpret eye scans from routine clinical practice. It can correctly recommend how patients should be referred for treatment for over 50 sight-threatening eye diseases as accurately as world-leading expert doctors. So this will definitely man versus machines. In one of our research publications, we centered on Dr. Loxin's theory of technological competency as caring in nursing. So even if there's a technological explosion and information explosion, there should be the concept of caring in nursing. So in this publication, we explore the meaning of caring phenomenon through hermeneutics, entitled Understanding the Essence of Caring from the Lived Experiences of Informatics Nurses. We are at the same page with a lot of theories existing. The technical competency is an expression of caring. In our study, we advanced the nurse cyborg patient triad. In this study, we explored the meaning of phenomenon of caring to present the lived experiences of caring, namely caring as actions of coming in between, caring as expressed within embodied relations, and caring and the path traversed by informatics nurses. The informatics nurse cyborg patient triad speaks of Filipino informatics nurses' insightful understanding of the phenomenon of caring. Truly, as coined by previous researchers, technical competency is an expression of caring. In the celebrated book by Dan Brown entitled The Origin, he coined the term technium, or humans attached to computers. In a recent published work, we refer to this as healthcare cyborg, or healthcare providers attached to gadgets in delivering services to clients. Soon, every human being will be independent on technologies to carry out tasks. We gave birth to these technologies, and in the future, we might be consumed by our inventions. In addition, humans nowadays are not only hooked to computers, but they are being represented by machines as well as in virtual spaces. One excellent example is the preponderance of animojis from Apple Technologies that can mimic facial features and reaction, but in the form of emojis we use in communicating. This concept is also similar to the movie Avatar, where humans are represented in a different world or the web space in our own context. Now that patients around the world have grown more comfortable using digital networks and services, even for complex and sensitive issues such as healthcare, I believe that the time has come for healthcare systems to go all in on their digital strategies, and coping up with the demands of 4IR entails embracing sustainability, and it encompasses four important concepts: the purpose, the people, the process, and the product. I have embraced this concept from my previous experiences. Being with Apple for almost 5 years, I have learned to blend and juxtapose three important roles as a healthcare provider. I'm fortunate to become a part of the Apple Distinguished Educators Group, or ADE, a global community of educational leaders recognized for doing amazing things with technology. As a proud member of its advisory board for healthcare and medicine in two terms, I have collaborated with a lot of educators worldwide to further education, research, and health technologies. That includes wearable technologies like the Apple Watch, the tracking of vital health statistics, and activities of daily living. Although these studies promote a more personal delivery of healthcare, I do believe that technology is nothing, just like what is mentioned by Steve Jobs, that it's very important that we have faith also in our people, on our nurses, that they're basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. I have discovered this very good website that if you want to explore on several topics that we can do for the fourth industrial revolution under the nursing field, we can visit the intelligence.bforum.org to explore some of the concepts that might be applied into the nursing context. Just like, for example, in previous years, we have published a lot of studies related to the use of technologies and innovation. We gamify uh, teaching and learning for students in terms of their nutrition. We also compare the effects or therapeutic effects of pets and the virtual pets on patients, especially our seniors. Artificial intelligence, so this is also common in nursing nowadays. And one of the studies that we are working on is on the use of Amazon Alexa, on how we can use it on our clinical practice. We publish a lot of studies also with regards to telehealth, and this picture showcases our previous publication in terms of telehealth with the utilization of course, telehealth providers. So in the past, we also discovered on how robots can aid in the care of our patients, particularly our elderly. So for every research that we're producing, it's very important that we produce something out of it. So we called it from conception to commercialization. The studies that we are producing are converted either into instrumental or materials or gadgets, conceptual, that will change the mindset of our nurses, and symbolic, that can be used also for policy development. Just like for the recent years, student nurses in our university, uh, together with nursing professionals, have produced a lot of patent applications for use in the daily life. So we also need to sustain sustainability. And as we embrace the fourth industrial revolution, let us not forget that our humanity. Okay, in technology, don't forget our humanity. And it's also very important that if we want change in our profession in this fourth industrial age, we should be the one to first uh, take the initial step before we can encourage others to take their role. So we should walk the talk, we should think, act, keep an open mind. Summarily, there are numerous reasons for the need to prepare nursing for the fourth industrial revolution or fire. In change, we have challenges, but we have a chance to have a choice. Gearing up nursing and global health requires careful considerations of the core elements, the plan, people, process, and product. And innovation must begin in oneself. It requires consistency and persistency and passion or grit. On the whole, the proposed solution for 4IR in nursing and healthcare is not to react randomly, but to proact scholarly. Humanity has proven itself capable of learning and evolving with its ever changing environment. Nurses and healthcare professionals can likewise address the challenges of Industry 4.0 through research, technology, education, and scholarship. Knowledge transfer and exchange and continuing professional development activities are essential strategies in improving awareness and initiating actions towards planning, implementing, and evaluating desired outcomes for 4IR in nursing and healthcare. So before I end, I would like to share with you one of my favorite quotes from the Dan Brown novel, The Origin. May our philosophies keep pace with our technologies. May our compassion keep pace with our powers. And may love, not fear, be the agent of change. So, with that, thank you very much for listening.